What's up guys, Aroneous here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over something that I wish I had done in the past a long time ago. This should have been done a long time ago, but I've just gotten to it recently, and what helped me was the 50% off of removing gear. That thing that I did just went from 0 to 100 for me. It helped me get way more loot. So just for me saying that, I'm sure you know what this video is about. But anyways, let's get into it. All right, so what I ended up doing finally, was created a better clan boss team. Okay. And it's an unkillable team that is created for a 2-turn or possible 1-turn if you have a lot better gear or better champions. In my case, here's the team that I have. I've got Maneater, Sir Nicholas with Brimstone, Seeker, we've got here Rosin, who is a fusion champion, and then Geomancer. Now I'm going to go over all the champions and talk in length about them after the battle, but first we're just going to get right into the breakdown of the battle itself, and I'm going to showcase to you all the steps you need to take before the boss actually takes a turn. So by round 2, there's a couple of setup steps, yes, but once you do these setup steps, you won't have to worry, and it's full auto after the steps. So I think it's like a 3 to 5 turn delay on Seeker, a couple turn delays on your Maneater, a few turns on Sir Nicholas, I think 3 or 4, and then boom, you're off to the races. So this team, just really quick, I didn't build this team for the longest time because I just didn't want to re-gear anybody. I didn't have the silver, and I didn't want to be bothered by doing a setup team. I just wanted 100% full auto from the first turn. I didn't even want to set it up at all. Like, I just didn't want to be bothered every day with doing that. But I do realize, like, that's just me being stubborn, okay? And I realized, like, I could have progressed so much further on this free-to-play account if I just did this. And this is probably my worst ever thing that I've done to basically hurt myself from progression and growth. So anyways, let's get into this. I'm going to showcase to you what steps I take in the battle. So let's do it. I just have to pull up the steps here on my phone because I don't remember the steps off the top of my head. That's the other thing, is like, you have to memorize these steps. And that's the other issue, is like, I don't want to have to memorize the steps, but honestly, you have to memorize these steps. You got to work at it. Do it a few times. Eventually, you'll memorize the steps. So I'm just going to make myself a little bit smaller for you guys so you can see all the allies I have here. So the first things first. Whoever is going first. So in that case, Maneater. Maneater opens with his A1. Okay? And then I'll show you the setup, the team setup afterwards to make sure it runs properly after you do the, the manual setup here. So Maneater, open with the A1. Then we've got Seeker. He has a 3-turn delay, or on a 5-turn delay if he gets stunned. So first we're going to do A1. So that's 1. Always remember where you're at too with your champions, because you can forget that and end up getting a wrong key. Like, your battle could end up ending sooner if for some reason you don't set this up correctly. So you'll get less damage. But if you set it up correctly, you're going to go the full 50 turns and you're going to get the most damage possible. So 1 turn on Seeker so far. Now we've got the 2 damage dealers. So Geomancer and Rosin here. Now you could obviously interchange these champions with pretty much anybody as long as you have a decreased defense weaken. You could change out Geomancer for like a poisoner, HP burner, things like that. You could put in Rhonda, for example. You could put in other good champions as well. So with Geo, I just go right into his HP burn weaken ability. And then for Sir Nicholas, you can also interchange Sir Nicholas with the Tower, Helicath as well. And so in this case, we need to make sure that the timing on the A3 block damage skill is to block the first AoE, and a 3-turn delay works. So it would be A1 for him. There's the first turn from the boss. And now we're going to go with Rosin's A2 to place the decreased defense. And then for Maneater, he can go right into his A3 right now. Now, I did shut off Maneater's A2 because you don't need to use that at all. So Seeker is now on his second turn, so you're going to A2. And then with Geomancer, I really like Geo because you can do his A2 to remove the decrease attack. So we're on an affinity-friendly team right here with Maneater's block debuffs buff. And then, of course, he can steal the increased attack like he did just now. If he doesn't steal it, he can just remove it, which is really nice. So now we're going to go to Sir Nicholas. Sir Nicholas is going to go with his A2 now. And his priority for the setup is his A3, but you're going to manual first. So now we can A1 with Maneater. We don't need to really worry about Maneater anymore. We can just A1 with our damage dealers. We've got now turn 3. Boom, boom. Okay, there you go with Seeker. And then the next turn, Seeker should be able to do his A2, but if you get stunned, then you have to delay for one more turn until you do the A2. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and place the HP burn again. We are going to A1 again with him. We're now going to go ahead with Sir Nicholas, and we can utilize, so A1, A2. I don't know if he went on his third turn yet. No, he didn't. So I'm going to A1. All right, so Sir Nicholas was stunned, which obviously not the best. I decided to reset Maneater's masteries and put a blood shield ring on him to steer the stun to Seeker instead. As you can see here, I was going through Maneater's gear, and I was just upgrading his gear slowly but surely with some glyphs to help his HP get boosted a little bit further, and also to help get his defense up a little bit further. And then I also was showcasing the different gear sets that he had on. I made sure he was in a toxic set, and I made very carefully made decision to not make his speed go up any further because it needs to be at 255 speed. And I then changed his blood shield ring with the ring that he had on, and then I figured, I think we've got this now. Let's do it again. So I realized here that I'm still recording on mute the entire time, so I decided to do a voiceover. It's not going to match my mouth moving and what I'm talking to you on screen there. But of course, I decided to go in and start off with Maneater. Maneater's got to do the A1. Boom, there you go. And then Seeker, he has the A1. And then our damage dealers can do whatever. So with Geomancer, I did the A3, and then Sir Nicholas, A1, Rosin, A2, Maneater goes A3, Seeker would now go A2, A1, A2 on Geomancer, A2 on Sir Nicholas, A1 on Maneater, A1 on Rosin, A1 on our Seeker. So we're talking about the blood shield ring, or the shield that's going to occur for Maneater to hopefully not get a stun on him this time around. Maneater A1, and he does have the blood shield ring at this point, so you can see now Maneater does have the shield where that shield was falling off and he was getting targeted because of the buff. So boom, the stun finally made it. I was excited there. We made it with one buff. I was saying one buff made the huge difference. So then I decided to go with the A1 with Rosin, and then A3 with Geomancer to put the HP burn and weaken on again. A1 with our Maneater. It's pretty much full auto from here though, so not too shabby. I'm going to let this play out for you guys so you can listen, and hopefully you enjoy the run, and then afterwards we'll come back and talk about the different champions. I just realized I was talking to you guys the entire time on mute, and you probably didn't hear a single thing I said for a little while now. So basically, that one buff made a massive difference. And now the team is going to be in sync at turn 7 here, or boss turn 7. So we should be able to go the full 50 turns. If not, it's probably just because I didn't do the setup right, but I'm pretty sure I did the setup perfectly this time around because our incorrect champion is not being hit, right? We want to make sure it's stunned on Seeker or stunned on the damage dealers the first go around. So I think we're good to go here now. So I'll come back to you guys in a little bit.
Hey, what up, girl? How you doing? I don't want to come on too strong or nothing like that, but I've been thinking about you. And I've been wondering where you lay up. Where you at? So, sure. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Cinderella, I think I'll find your glass slipper, baby. Cinderella, I think you found your prince charming in me. I don't know much, but I do know that I'm feeling you. Hope that one day, maybe someday you'll be feeling me too. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. You must be magic the way that you carry yourself. It's like you got this unspoken confidence.
All right, so I'm back here. We finally did it. The fourth try, the fourth go around. We got our damage. We did 50 turns completely. We could potentially get a 1 key with this team if I had specific gear, stronger gear, and even meta champions. So either the gear will make you do more damage, or if you have meta champions like Dracomorph, I would swap Dracomorph out for Rosin. You know, there's other champions you could potentially swap out for Rosin. You could also put in potentially Vizier with Dracomorph to get crazy debuff extensions on the clan boss with poison. So that could also help too. So not a bad team here. Seeker with 5.6 million damage. Maneater 7.6 million. Geomancer with a 22 million damage because we don't have a block damage champion. So all that AoE damage that he's doing to us is what's getting that much damage for Geomancer. Plus, my Geomancer is built a certain way. Rosin 9.5 million. If Rosin was in a poison set, probably could get more damage. But I think my Rosin's in a Savage set. I'll double check. 7.1 million with Cernic. Because again, if you can get all your champions here in a poison set and meet those stats, then more than likely you're going to hit the 70 million 1 key. So it's definitely a 2 key for me for Ultra Nightmare. Every affinity, I was able to adjust it so that way I won't have those issues going forward for magic because of Maneater. But first I'm going to show you Sir Nicholas. And these aren't crazy speeds, by the way. So Sir Nick is one of the slower ones. Sir Nicholas is in random gear, of course. I have no specific set here. It's just random gear with high damage. Okay, so 45,000 HP. I wish I could get his HP a lot higher. I would love to have 60 to 70k HP, but I just don't have the gear sets to do it, the stats to do it. Almost 3,000 defense. 192 speed is what you would absolutely need to hit. It needs to be 192. Do not go above or below. Okay, 115% crit rate, you know, better at 100% with more crit damage, but this is what I got with my gear. So I did utilize, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Deadwood Jedi site. That's where I found this team that you could use instead of Sir Nicholas. You could also use Roshkard the Tower, or you could use Helicath. So the only thing is, if you use Helicath with the block damage, then Geomancer's passive ability with reflecting damage to the attackers will not work because they're just not doing damage to us. So keep that in mind. So there is my Sir Nick. I did put him in counterattack masteries and War Master at the end. So there you go. If you want to take a peek, there's the masteries. And then for the next champion, of course, we're gonna go with we'll go with Geomancer next. So Geomancer, the reason why I can do way more damage if I upgrade my second Geomancer, I have another Geomancer, but he's rank 4, level 40. But once I rank that guy up to 6, level 60, I'm going to redo his gear instead. This one is built for Iron Twins, okay? I have to reach the 550 plus thresholds for Iron Twins stage 15, which I honestly, it's a ridiculous amount of accuracy that you need for that stage, but it's endgame content, of course. 215 speed, you need to get 214 or 215 speed, okay? Try not to go below, try not to go too much higher than that. I was thinking that 215 speed was not going to work for me, and that I messed up his entire build, but it says 214 on Deadwood Jedi site, but it works for me on 215, so you can do that. I do not suggest utilizing Ninja, because Ninja is going to mess up the speed composition for himself, right? He'll go too fast, because over time, Ninja's A1 keeps on increasing his turn meter, and it's going to throw the team off. So don't bring in Ninja for this team. So there you go. That's these are my stats. I got 100% crit rate, but only 100% crit damage. So the new Geomancer, if I build him, I would build him with pure damage. I would build him in the spot or slot where Rosin is, and that's who I'll go on next. So Rosin, I would end up building as the faster one, 214, 215 speed, and Geomancer would be the slow one at 179 speed. Okay, so Rosin, he's at 4,700 defense, 38,000 HP, 100% crit rate, 235 crit damage, 238 accuracy. So he's actually not built in a Savage set. He's built in double perception. I've got one stone skin piece here, 6-star mythic piece, which is nice. I didn't get any speed on here, unfortunately. Every time I get a mythic piece, I never get it on the actual mythic substat. I don't know why. It's almost like the percentage chance to get it on a mythic substat is reduced severely. But either way, still a good piece. I'm afraid that if I level this up, I'll get it on speed. So I don't want to get it to 16, but I will upgrade it to 15. Like all the pieces, I'll get to at least 15. And then upgrade some of the substats as long as it's not speed, because I don't want to mess up the speeds here. So with him, again, total stats are there. Masteries, I did go with Giant Slayer for him. And then on this side, just be careful. So Lore of Steel ended up working for him because of the double perception. And I was able to take care of him with the support tree. But of course, preferably, I could reset for free, but it's going to throw off my speeds. But I would prefer to go to the defense tree and then do the counterattacks with him for more damage. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do eventually once I save up more silver and then re-gear him for more damage. The next champion, so I went over Geomancer, Rosin, and Maneater. Actually, no, I didn't go over Maneater, so let me do Maneater next. All right, so for Maneater, we've got him in a Toxic set for more damage. And again, these sets are not even fully built, right? They're at low level, so I have a lot of room for growth. So Maneater does have to be the fastest on the team at 255 speed. Build him with high HP, build him with high defense if you can get it, but you do want to do damage with him. So if you can get more attack, that's actually preferable. Because I think the only real issue I had there was the fact that he was being targeted because he didn't have enough buffs. I don't know if it had to do with the HP and defense per se. I think it was more so because of that one extra buff that he had. So if you have the same amount of buffs, usually the as long as it's not negative affinity to your champions, like for example, the Magic Affinity Clan Boss was not going after my Force Affinity champions because he is weak affinity against them. So he was going for the next best thing that didn't have any buffs on them, which was Maneater. And my Maneater had more HP and more defense than my Seeker per se. So I was hoping that the clan boss would target Seeker, but he just wasn't, because Seeker had one more buff than Maneater. So the boss tends to stray away from extra buffs. So because I put the blood ring on this guy, it actually helped out tenfold. So he does have 255 speed. It has to be 255 speed. Please do not go above or below. Just do 255 speed. 40,000 HP is not necessary, but you want to go as much attack as possible, as much damage as possible. Of course, in the future, I'll be able to get better gear, more damage, and higher crit damage, higher crit rate, or better crit rate at 100%. With a toxic set even, is going to help you tenfold. And then for the masteries, I did go with Steadfast here, right here. So Steadfast, so it helps him from being targeted as well. And offense tree down to War Master, of course. I just left these two blank because I don't really care about, this. I mean, you could go with Spirit Haste if you wanted to. It's not a big deal. You could just leave it blank too. So yeah, I did do a blood ring. It's a 5-star blood ring. This is totally fine. Again, no additional stats on it, but I can upgrade him if I need to. And then for this chest plate, of course, I got attack percent, so I will end up upgrading this so he has more damage, and that's fine. And then the last champion, I think that's all of them actually. 1, 2, Rosin. Oh, Seeker. So we've got Seeker as well. So Seeker is the last champion to go over wherever he is. All right, so Seeker is the last champion here. So Seeker, he's built at 218 speed. He's based on attack. So the reason why it works is because Seeker increases our speeds on one of his abilities, which is this one right here, Tailwind. So fills the turn rate of all allies by 30%, grants places an increased attack for 2 turns, all allies, and then grants an extra turn. So that's really, really good. And he's really powerful too. So I put him in a toxic set as well for more damage. And I went with crit rate on the gauntlet because you want to make sure you're getting those speeds too. But 100% crit rate is what you want to try to meet. And then get those speeds at 218 exactly for Seeker. I have him at 2800 attack. Again, I have room for growth on all of these champions. And then for masteries, he doesn't even have any masteries yet. So if I go with War Master, then he's going to do probably 2 million to 4 million, maybe 5 million more damage, which is pretty insane. And then I'll upgrade all these bottom stats too. The one thing I might not upgrade is this one because I don't want speed to land. So I might get it to 15 and that's it. And then for this one, crit damage, I can fully upgrade this. I can fully upgrade this. I don't want to fully upgrade this helmet because it could end up throwing off the speeds. And then this one, I can fully upgrade because it's not going to throw off the speed. So there you have it. That's all the champions on the team. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below. If you want to chat about the team or anything like that, please leave a comment down below. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well. This did take me a little bit to make and recreate my clan boss team. My last clan boss team was getting a 3 key or a 4 key every single time, and I've been doing that for like the past year or two. So I think it was time that I did this, and I didn't do it because I was just being stubborn and I didn't want to do the manual setup in the beginning, and I didn't want to have to deal with doing rerun after rerun after rerun like I did. But honestly, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It was way easier for me to just go back and realize, like, oh my god, there's just a couple of small tweaks here and there on champions, and it didn't cost as much silver as I was expecting it to cost. So yeah, so this is probably the number one thing I should have corrected on my account years ago to get more rewards from Clan Boss. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on a video soon. Peace.